Celebrating his apparent victory in a referendum on a new constitution that gives him almost unlimited powers. Kais Saied has promised that Tunisia will now enter a new phase after what he describes as a decade of political deadlock and economic decay. An exit poll has indicated that more than 90% of those who voted have backed the president's plan. It gives the head of state full executive control, supreme command of the army and the ability to appoint a government without parliamentary approval. But the poll has also suggested turnout was less than 30%, with main opposition parties boycotting the poll. Our Middle East correspondent Anna Foster says the result gives President Kais Saied sweeping new powers.
It's been described by human rights groups, both here in Tunisia and internationally, as one-man rule, which of course was the thing that led to the Arab Spring, the changes in the Tunisian constitution in the first place over a decade ago now. Essentially what it does is gives him the sort of power that would normally be checked and balanced by Parliament. And of course, don't forget that a year ago yesterday, he got rid of the Prime Minister, the Parliament and the government. And there still haven't been parliamentary elections. So that will perhaps be something that we might now see when this new constitution is in place. I think the result is very much a foregone conclusion. The turnout is low. 27.54% we were told yesterday. The result could well come later on this afternoon. So I think in terms of what Tunisians will see just every day, not a great deal will change because a lot of the power is already in Kais Saied's hands. But he can hire and fire cabinet ministers. He can hire and fire judges. If he wants to, he has the ability to change the constitution, to give himself the ability to be president for the foreseeable future, for the rest of his life. So once this changes, I think what happens next in the next few weeks and months will be crucial when we see how he will use that new power.
So he's just earned a sweeping mandate there. But how representative was this vote, given the low turnout? And how much does it reflect how people generally feel about the leadership?
Well, it does actually reflect the views of many Tunisians. Here, people who are poorer, people who are working class, they are struggling financially, as are so many people around the world at the minute. The cost of living crisis is being felt acutely here. And people who are struggling, many of them do see President Kais Saied as a saviour figure, as a way out of this. They see him as a powerful leader, somebody who is taking corruption in hand, somebody who has given them a clear path forward with this new constitution. So in fact, he does have broad popular support. But of course, there are that whole swathe of people, the people who protested on the streets here in Tunisia a decade ago, who wanted democracy. And for a brief time, they had it. They had the constitution back in 2014, which gave that democracy, those checks and balances, the ability for people to get involved and actually make their mark on the way the country was run. And that has very much gone now, or it certainly will do when the result is confirmed, probably later this afternoon. You do wonder if the opposition parties who were against this, who called not for a no vote, but for a boycott, might now be reconsidering that position, because there was no minimum turnout level for this referendum. Whatever it was, as long as the result was in favour of the president, then it would go through. And I think that boycott, while representing a lot of people here, has allowed a clear path for President Kais Saied